Are you satisfied with how much you learn and remember when you read course assignments? If not, you might consider using self-testing as a learning strategy when you read. Research has shown that self-testing is a potent way to learn and more effective than simply rereading the material. Self-testing is based on the idea that when you try to recall previously learned material from memory, you learn more. Recall is actually a learning process in which two things happen. First, you make new connections and associations with the information, which expands your knowledge, and second, you strengthen your memory. This video focuses on how to use self-testing when you read course assignments, whether from a textbook, an article, a handout, or even watching a video. The procedure involves 3 steps. First, you read a bit of material. Second, you put it aside and try to recall what you just read. And third, you review by looking back at the assignment to check your answer. Use this strategy to read the entire assignment. Read a segment, recall what you read, and check your answer, and then move on to the next segment. Let's look at what is involved in each step. First, you decide how much to read before testing yourself. That could be a few paragraphs, a few sentences, or an entire section of a chapter. The amount of material is likely to vary depending on your familiarity with the topic. If you know a lot about the topic, you'll be able to relate the new information to what you already know, making it easier to learn. So you may be able to read a longer section. If you're unfamiliar with the topic, you may need to scale back and read a couple of sentences or paragraphs before testing yourself. Second, after reading a section, put the material aside. Don't look at it until you've tried to recall as much as you can. The effectiveness of self-testing depends on how much effort you put into trying to recall the material. I recommend that you write or recite out loud what you can recall rather than just think about what you remember. I prefer to write it out, even if I can only remember a few words or ideas. Writing is beneficial in 2 ways. First, it's clear feedback to you about what you have learned. And second, writing also reveals what you don't yet know about the topic. There will be gaps in what you can recall. It's good to find these so that you can focus on them when you study. Finally, after recalling as much as you can, go back to the material and compare what you wrote to what's in the text. Evaluate your answer. Look for any mistakes or inaccuracies and identify key ideas that you're not able to recall. If you want, add this information to your written answer. Even though this self-testing strategy is pretty simple, it's possible to use it well or poorly. Research has found several ways to optimize learning from self-testing. First, always try to recall as much as you can. Every time you try to recall previously learned information, you improve your knowledge of the topic. Sometimes students will skip over information if they think they already know it, or they may skip over material they think they don't know and go back and reread it before self-testing. But this is like skipping practice and missing the opportunity to improve your knowledge. So a first rule of thumb is to always try to recall the information, even if it is easy or hard. Second, be sure to write or recite what you remember. When you write or say out loud what you remember, you get feedback. You see or hear what you know. It helps you identify gaps in your knowledge so you can go back and restudy later. Third, always take a minute to review your answer and compare it to the material in the reading. Look for inaccuracies and gaps in your knowledge. This review is important self-corrective feedback. You now have basic information about how and why to use self-testing when you read. If you're interested in trying out this strategy, here is a last bit of advice to help you get started. First, adopting a new study strategy, even a pretty simple one, may be a little disruptive. You already have study habits and strategies you've developed over a long period of time. Adding a new one can interfere with your routine. Self-testing is a different way to read course material. Initially, it may be awkward to move more slowly through a reading assignment, stopping to self-test and check your answer. However, research has shown that self-testing takes the same or less time than if you read and take notes. Plus, you'll learn more from self-testing. Self-testing is also more difficult than reading and rereading. When you reread material, you can skim it and think about it, but you're looking at it. It's right in front of you. Self-testing is harder because you read the material and then you have to reconstruct it from memory. That is a more effortful process. The belief that self-testing is more difficult can dissuade students from trying it out. Rereading is easier, but it's not very effective. Self-testing takes a bit more effort, but you learn and remember more. A good way to approach self-testing is to give it a try. You don't have to give up any of your current study strategies. Simply try self-testing for one assignment or even part of an assignment. Do this several times. Gradually, you'll get better at it, and then you can decide whether and how you want to make it part of your regular study routine. Okay, what did you learn from this video? Here's a practice quiz. The quiz, like self-testing, will help you remember and consolidate what you watched and read in this video. First, I'll read the questions. 1. Describe how to do self-testing when reading a course assignment. 2. How does self-testing improve learning? 3. Describe how to do self-testing effectively. 4. Research has shown that self-testing is more effective than other learning strategies. Based on the video and your personal experience, what are some barriers that keep students from using it? Okay, pause the video and test yourself. To review your answers, replay the video. If you would like to know more about self-testing and other effective learning strategies, go to takinglearningseriously.com.